Over the 11-season history of the Rocket League Championship Series, there have been unlikely heroes, unbeatable teams, unbelievable goals, and unforgettable players. But this is not one of those stories. To be a victor, there must also be a vanquished. No, not everyone gets a happy ending. Today we will look at the tragic tale of a player that no one remembers, a player with a record that he wishes he could forget. This is the story of Tylacto and Team Secret. In July 2017, Psyonix announced that RLCS Season 4 would include the addition of a secondary league. The Rocket League Rival Series would run alongside the Championship Series to allow teams and talent to grow and potentially earn spots in the next RLCS. Before the start of the season, open qualifiers would narrow down the field to 128 teams from each region, which would then battle for the 6 remaining RLCS positions and the 8 new spots in the Rival Series. This was just the chance the European bubble team RLCS had been waiting for. The trio of Continuum, Flame, and Tylacto would have never considered themselves to be one of the top 8 in the region, but top 16 was a realistic possibility. After going undefeated in their pool, RLCS made the top 128, and now faced a double elimination best of 5 tournament known as the RLCS Season 4 European Play-In. RLCS's undefeated run continued through the first 2 rounds of the play-ins, before they ran into the unstoppable force of Turbopulsa, KDOP, and Violent Panda. Gale Force's 3-game sweep cemented their spot in RLCS Season 4, while Tylacto and RLCS dropped to the lower bracket. Often called the loser's bracket, the lower is where teams with only 1 life left try and stay alive. And stay alive, RLCS did. After winning 3 straight games to complete a reverse sweep against the Inspiration team of Flakes, Sebadam, and Ocelon, Tylacto and his teammates found themselves facing off against another RLCS-worthy opponent, the Leftovers. After a strong Season 3 performance, the Leftovers had placed 4th at the World Championships. This wasn't a team that people expected to end up in the lower bracket, and they definitely weren't a team that should lose to RLCS. But someone must have forgot to tell Tylacto. His overtime winning goals in games 1 and 2 pushed the Leftovers to the brink, but then the Leftovers started pushing back. They shut out RLCS over the next 2 games, and the series came down to a decisive Game 5. Now in Season 3, the Leftovers had become known for their clutch Game 5s and reverse sweeps, and when they struck first in the final game of this series, it looked like they were poised to pull it off again. But when the clock hit 0, still nothing had been decided. It now would come down to a single goal, the winner securing a spot in RLCS Season 4, and the loser dropping to the Rival Series.
Maestro down and around, Siki in support, he gets it past, Siki's there, but he misses! Continuum fakes him out, Maestro takes another shot, and Siki sets it up.
Oh no!
It's past Nasty.
Tylacto
makes the touch, it goes through, he wins! Oh my goodness, RLCS in 5 minutes and 49 seconds of overtime. Oh,
Keeping
6.5 games of Rocket League.
Keeping their composure just long enough.
There are some that have been following this sport for long enough that still might call this one of the biggest upsets in RLCS history. And with 3 overtime winners to take the series for his team, Tylacto was heading into his first RLCS season on an incredible high, oblivious to the fact that this high would actually be his peak. The RLCS season format was a lot simpler at this time. It started with a regional group stage of 7 round-robin best-of-5 matches spread over 5 weeks. After every team had played each other, from there the top 6 in the group would qualify for the regional championship, which in turn would determine the top 4 that went to Worlds. With the recent backing from a professional esports organization and the impressive play-in performance still fresh in their minds, the newly dubbed Team Secret was ready to show Europe that it belonged in the RLCS. I'll let Tylacto himself explain how that went.
I mean, League play in Season 4, statistically, it is the worst standard format League play performance of any team. We went 3-21 in games. We lost 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, and all the other series we lost 3-0, not even a single Game 5. Yeah, everyone remembers us for being awful. After we qualified, we were reached out to by Team Secret. During the entire time, our organization, really, I have nothing bad to say about them. They were so nice, always so supportive, and that almost makes it worse, just how tragic a time we had. We brought a lot of shame to their name.
While Team Secret isn't the only RLCS team to lose every one of their best-of-5 matches during a season, its 12% win rate over 24 games is a record for the League Play era. And this record-breaking season meant Tylacto, Flame, and Continuum would now have to fight for their RLCS lives in the EU Season 5 promotion playoffs. Streamed live a week before the Season 4 World Championship, the promotion playoffs featured the bottom 2 RLCS teams and the top 2 rival teams in a double elimination best-of-7 tournament to determine their fate in the next season. Team Secret's first opponent was a familiar one. The Leftovers, now playing under the Fnatic banner, had dominated the rival series to earn a spot in the playoffs and a chance for revenge. 5 games later, Team Secret once again found themselves in the lower bracket. There, Tylacto, Flame, and Continuum win their first series in over a month, before moving on to the lower bracket final against Team Envy. But this time, there would be no loser bracket heroics. Team Envy easily takes the series 4-1, and Team Secret is relegated to the rival series. Both the team losses and his personal performance having taken a heavy mental toll, Team Secret captain Continuum decides to leave. He would announce his official retirement from competitive Rocket League just a few months later. Going into the offseason, Tylacto and Flame are without a third, have only won 1 of their last 9 series, and are facing a long and uncertain climb through the rival series if they ever hope to regain what they lost. The question was, is this the beginning of a redemption arc, or the beginning of the end?
In terms of like ability as myself and as a team, that was when we were genuinely one of the best teams in Europe, but unfortunately we were stuck in the wrong division. That off-season, we picked up Ignite, and immediately, we clicked. I'm biased, but I think the facts back up that we were probably the 4th, maybe 5th best team in Europe during that off-season. Off-season, you say it doesn't mean that much, but the tournaments in the off-season were a big deal back then because the off-season was so long.
I would honestly probably have them at number 2 behind Gale Force Esports right now, just because of the legacy of Gale Force Esports. But Secret during this offseason has been the best team in the world right now, and they pick up Ignite. What an impressive pickup for them.
I don't know, you just hit a vibe and you're like, everything is going perfect. The problem is, Ignite was too good, and when good teams want players, they take them. And when you're in RLCS, you can't keep a player.
The path for any rival series team to get to the RLCS was now at least a 6-month journey. No one could fault Ignite for accepting Envy's offer. In his place, Tylacto and Flame recruited a German player named Tigri. The belief that this team was good enough for the RLCS was still strong, but to get back there, Team Secret would first need to conquer the rival series. Team Secret rolled through the 5 weeks of rival series league play with only one thing in their sights: the promotion playoffs. And the results were a 5-2 record, a 66% win rate, and the top spot in the league. Now months of work would come down to a 4-team, double elimination, best of 7 tournament. And as fate would have it, the first team they faced in the promotion playoffs was their old nemesis, Fnatic. But once again, the script was flipped, and it was Tylacto and Team Secret's turn for some revenge as they sent Fnatic's RLCS hopes to the lower bracket.
Up. Tigri is there. It's in. Team Secret book their spots in the upper bracket finals. They will meet Servette.
Next, an unexpected opponent awaited Team Secret in the upper bracket final. Servette Geneva had pulled off a surprising victory over the RLCS team Excel Esports, which meant the 2 best rival teams would now have to go head-to-head for a spot in the big league. And Team Secret was the strong favorite.
I don't like thinking about that series. I spent years thinking about that series every single day of my life. It's haunting. It is the most tragic series of Rocket League ever seen. Yes, I'm biased, but I don't like to call it a throw, because I was a part of it, and I know what happened exactly, but everyone will label it as potentially the biggest throw in terms of a team's career and their history. It's Game 6. I've just scored a really, really weird dunk goal, and we're in position to win the series 4-2. To be in RLCS, the past year effectively of work, not just 6 months really. We've got a minute on the clock, 1 goal lead to defend, and we'll be there. Gets down to 0 seconds. I think Mummy Snow's just fast out of the corner. He gets the pass. Could I have dunked him if I pre-jumped him? Sure. Would I have ever done that now? I don't regret what I did in that moment, but it's a 0-second equalizer from Alex161. It's pretty tragic.
The tragedy continued to unfold just over a minute and a half into overtime. A broken play started by Mummy Snow going for a ball he never should have gone for, combined with a nice pass and bump from Alex161, gives Servette Esports the win and pushes the series to Game 7.
But then it goes to Game 7 overtime, because of course it does. Flame beats one player down the left-hand side, and then he lands with the ball. He jumps off the wall and lands as the ball lands, which fizzes it along the box towards me, and I'm in the mid. I reach the shot, and on my POV, if you watch it, it's so tragic. I see that I've reached this ball, I've shot it on target towards the bottom right-hand corner, and the net's open. That's it. We've done it in Game 7 overtime. Thank goodness, hallelujah, we've finally got this. And I remember screaming in celebration because, that's it, it's a goal. But it wasn't a goal. It wasn't. Alex161 had somehow got back in time, hits it somehow off the inside of the post or something, and it rattles around the woodwork and ends up not going in. 5 seconds later, their counter-attack, and Tigri misreads the ball off the backboard and own goals. And we lose in Game 7 overtime. And all of our fans and everyone now realizes that we then have to play 5 minutes later against Fnatic, who have just beaten Excel in the lower bracket.
Yes, just 5 minutes after a heartbreaking Game 7 defeat, Team Secret once again finds itself facing Fnatic in the lower bracket finals. This is their second chance to still make RLCS, but the mentally exhausted players of Team Secret just don't have it in them.
There's no excuse for it. At the end of the day, if we were better, we'd have still won that series. But I think we were too heartbroken at the end of the day. Even if we were one of the best teams on our day, we clearly didn't have the mental game to back it up when it mattered.
During the offseason, Tigre is picked up by Mouse Esports, and Flame and Tylacto have to once again search for a new third. Soon, Freaky joins in his place, but unfortunately, Team Secret's best games were now behind them. Tylacto himself would leave the team in December 2018, at which point he focused on finishing his astrophysics degree while still playing in tournaments under the old Aeriality name. But his story wasn't quite over yet. In 2020, Tylacto makes a surprise return to the RLCS, and proceeds to put up a performance that I think will preserve his legacy forever. With a self-proclaimed meme team including his friends Teta and Cheerio, Tylacto qualified for the RLCS Season 10 Fall Regional event, in which they proceeded to lose all 3 of their best of 5 matchups. This gives him a final stat line of losing 10 official RLCS series, amazingly without ever playing a Game 5.
So that does make me the statistical worst ever player in RLCS history. And it kind of just leads into that line from the first Pirates of the Caribbean, where I may be the worst RLCS player you've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
In Tylacto's case, his tragic story actually does have a happy ending. Over the last couple years, he has made a successful transition to coaching, become a partnered streamer on Twitch, and has even found his way back into the RLCS as a caster. Not a bad outcome for a guy whose career seemed like it would be forever stuck in the lower bracket. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and check out some of my recent content like this documentary I made about the lowest rank in the game. This was my first real esports focused video, so please let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. My name is Rocket Sledge. See you next time.